All right. You said that you had some things you didn't know about episode 1.
Well, I mean, they're really kind of just more behind the scenes factoids and stuff that I found interesting. We all kind of know, mythologies and histories and stuff like that. But I mean, we were just speaking of, Jake Lloyd said this one time. According to Jake Lloyd, there was a 6-hour cut of the film that was screened for several people before the film was released.
Dang.
And those who saw it proclaimed it to be, quote, mind-bogglingly good, unquote. Like the later lost cut of Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, this cut has never been released publicly.
See, Topher Grace doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's going the wrong way.
It's going the wrong way. I mean, what would the 6-hour cut be?
I don't know.
I mean, we watched the Snyder Cut. That was one movie.
Right?
I'll watch it, but
I don't know. I mean, do you expand on Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan beforehand?
Yeah.
You don't have to start there. You could start before it a little bit more.
Does Maul have more lines?
Yeah, maybe elements of this book are in there where you get more of Padme or Queen Amidala beforehand, but you don't want to ruin the twist ending or anything either. So I don't know. I'd be curious to see, but we probably never will.
No, we probably never will.
More pod racing? Maybe there could be more pod racing.
Well, in the novelization, there are a couple extra scenes, and one of them is the previous pod race of Anakin's that he and Kickster talk about.
They crashed. The one that was in the book here.
So, at the very least, that was in the novelization. But I'm pretty sure that Lucas and the author of that novelization kind of had a phone call and created those scenes more. I don't know if it was something that was. It could have been from a script and that was cut. I'm not really sure. That has happened before.
I know in some of the deleted scenes, because I was watching them on Disney Plus the other day. There's the one with the probe droid that finds Anakin and Qui-Gon in
Mos Espa.
Yeah, in Mos Espa.
Qui-Gon cuts it down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that there, which kind of leads a little bit more as to why they're running.
Yeah.
There is
why Maul is all pissed off.
Yeah. when they get the Bongo to Theed, there was a waterfall that they were trying to survive. So there's
they
that scene.
Shoot a hook or something off to the side and go on the water, right? Something like that. I remember that.
Yeah. I think there was also a scene that was on there for Bale and Tilly's.
Was there?
Where he was in a deleted scene where they showed him.
You're right. Okay, yeah, it's not Jimmy Smits.
Yeah, not Bail
Organa.
But
yeah, it's
Bale
and Tilly's. Yeah, he's a blonde actor, I think. Yeah, I've seen that before.
So there's some more stuff in that as well that they cut out, and those were all filmed. Let alone the things that weren't filmed. Or I guess if it was a 6-hour cut, they must have all been filmed. So I don't know.
Oh, and hey, shout out to Never Lose Your Nerd, who gave us a super chat, $2. Love seeing the Phantom Menace in theaters again.
Oh, me too.
And I didn't get to go do it, but I was happy to hear so many people having a great experience with it.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I hope next year. I think next year's the 20th anniversary of Episode 3.
Yeah.
I'd love to go see that in theaters again.
Yeah.
Though the ones that I want to see, those are the 2 I've seen. I haven't seen Episode 2, 4, 5, or 6 in theaters ever, and I want to see those at some point.
Some of the fun facts that these are specifically about Liam Neeson, who was a huge Star Wars fan, but kind of like many people, including Sam Jackson and even Ian McDiarmid, arrived on the set not really knowing much about what they were going to be doing. Liam Neeson was so eager to be in this film that, and this is confirmed by his agency, he signed on without ever reading a single script.
Really?
He was just like, "Wait, what want me to do?" It's be the Jedi Master. He's like, Done. I will do that. And apparently Sam Jackson did the same thing. He got to set, and they're like, "So who are you? You're going to be a Jedi Master? Like what Jedi? The best one. The best? Well, no, next to Yoda. And I could just sit next to Yoda?" So that happened. And even Ian McDiarmid had no idea he was coming on and playing a senator.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't really know that. I mean, how familiar he's going to be with the character that he played how many years ago.
Sure. That makes sense, I guess.
I also love, just by the nature of casting Liam Neeson, sets were built only as high as the tops of actors' heads, and then computer graphics would fill, the rest. It's a good trick. Yeah, that way you're not wasting materials. But Liam Neeson is so tall that he costs the set crew, an extra $150,000 in construction.
And having to go taller?
Just for him, because he's so much taller.
That's funny.
Another super chat from Free Metroid Hat, $10. Thank you so much. Says, what is more fun to watch, the pod race or Duel of the Fates?
I'm going to say the pod race.
That's more fun.
Mainly because it's like uncut.
Yeah.
Interesting. There's a lot of elements of Duel of the Fates that I love, but
you have to go back.
You're back and forth so much. Whereas I feel like the race starts and we're there and we're watching the race. You may cut to like these people watching the race or these people up ahead of the race further.
Yeah.
But you're always like there in the race.
Sure.
And I really enjoy that, and watching it, like the audio and everything's so good, especially in theaters. I love Duel of the Fates. I think it's one of my favorite lightsaber fights. Just Darth Maul, Ray Park is really good, but I don't know. I think the what is it? Episode 3, Battle of
the Heroes.
Of the Heroes, yeah. I want to say brothers. I'm like, that's not right. I think that one I probably like more just because there's also more fighting in general with it too. You just get to see more things. But the downfall with that one is it also cuts away to an entirely different fight.
Yep.
That I almost wish you could have just been like, I watch this fight, now I watch this fight.
Have we ranked our favorite lightsabers yet?
I don't know if we have. Fights, I don't know. Because like in episode 2, like when you're fighting Dooku, like you're pretty much just there fighting Dooku almost the whole time.
We might need a Badonka-gonk that like has no book.
Just about lightsaber fights and stuff?
We're going to talk a lot about that one. For me, it's Duel of the Fates just because, I mean, I love the pod race, but I didn't pause the pod race frame by frame to jot down and try to replicate every move like I did.
Well, you can't replicate a pod racer.
I know. So I like the other one more.
Because of real life instances of it?
Just because I was so obsessed with lightsaber fighting that like like the pod race is fun, but I needed to watch the lightsaber fight. Lightsaber fight was the only reason I put the VHS in half the time. You know, just that's why I love so much. So just sheer honesty, it's Duel of the Fates over the pod race. But as you know,
have you ever driven a zero-turn
lawnmower? I have, yes. Zero-turn lawnmower, sure. Like a Bobcat.
They're like a pod racer.
No, trust me. The Bobcat on our farm was my pod racer to play in. But that's just, you know.
Sure.
The problem is you're asking me to rank things I shouldn't compare. This is a fun one here. Ian McGregor once stated that before filming began, he and Liam Neeson, and you might know about this, but I never really thought about it in these terms, were taken into a private room where 2 Lucasfilm employees approached them with a long, locked wooden box. When opened, they saw 20 various lightsaber hilts that they were allowed to choose to be their character's official weapon for the movie. Ewan then went on to explain that George Lucas only wanted to allow them in a rushed 10 minutes to decide on which design they wanted because George believed the actors should connect with their hilts through feeling and not through study. That, like, I've always seen.
I didn't know that last part.
I've always seen the clip of them bring out the lightsabers and pick what you want, one you want, and I always thought that's an interesting choice, like to give an actor the creative control of what a character's weapon should look like. That doesn't happen. Like they didn't go up to Viggo Mortensen and said, like, which one of these swords would you like the most? They're like, no, Andrew, the Flame of the West, that's yours. That's the one you have.
Sure.
You know? Like,
but I feel like in that sense, like doing lightsaber fights, like there's. Like yours, like if we had like here's 10 lightsaber hilts.
Yeah.
Which one you want to use? You're gonna go over. You're gonna look at them.
Yeah.
You're gonna grab them. That doesn't feel right.
I know.
You're gonna grab that one. Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that one. Dang, which one?
Right.
You know, like you're gonna narrow it down. I think based on just how it holds in your hand and what it looks like in general. But that makes sense. I think.
I love the choice of like this isn't a. It's not like think about it and come back tomorrow. It's in the moment, use your instinct. What do you feel is your lightsaber? It's such a Kyber crystal moment.
Well, yeah, it's making your saber. You know, like how many Jedi have their own unique saber that's geared towards them in what way?
Yeah.
You get to pick it. That's kind of cool.
I just thought that was really inspired. I mean, I know not a lot of people love like Qui-Gon's lightsaber design, you know, but I love the idea that Liam Neeson loves that design, and that informs the character.
Or at least out of the 20 that were there.
Of course, yeah, sure.
Right?
At least out of those ones.
Like, I would never pick Revan's saber.
Though it is... never. I know. I don't like the look, anything about
any of it.
But I do like that fact coupled with when you see the behind the scenes thing, and Ewan McGregor's like, wow. This is the one I've been using in like training. So he just picks the one that he just knows. That's Ewan McGregor's choice. I think that's so funny.
It's comfort.
Yeah, it kind of goes over George's like feeling of like, no, pay attention to each one. It's almost like an Avatar test. When they're trying to test the next Avatar, what are your previous possessions? Ewan McGregor's like, I've been playing with this one. This one's mine.
That's funny.
So that one was really cool.
There was a thing.
Yeah.
And actually, Joe bringing up Ahmed Best had an interview, and I had seen it. And one thing I learned from it was that Qui-Gon had a fake mustache that I never really noticed.
He did. I didn't know that.
I never realized it in the thing. But he was talking about when he was in the submarine with Ewan and Liam, and he had the boom de gasser, and then crashed into Hey Blibber, then vanished.
Yeah.
And he had that thing.
That's right.
And it's such a weird line and nonsensical words, because I don't know what a Hey Blibber is or a gasser. But he said that they would crack up so much, and Liam, he just started doing it crazier and crazier to try to make them laugh, that his mustache fell off.
It fell off.
And I just thought that was funny. And then I was like, man, I didn't know he had a fake mustache. I never noticed that.
No, there's a couple behind-the-scenes shots and stuff where you can see Liam Neeson with no mustache, and like he has like an umbrella hat on. It's really funny. This is an interesting one. Liam Neeson convinced George Lucas to keep a scene where Qui-Gon puts his hand on Shmi Skywalker's shoulder, which we did just see in one of the tone poems. Lucas felt this might be out of character for the monk-like Jedi, but Neeson thought there should be an emotional connection between these two characters. In an interview with Premiere Magazine, Neeson defended his action, saying, "It may be Star Wars, but we've got to have something in there for the adults." Which I thought was an interesting point, talking about like showing he showed like a form of affection, right? And we don't really see Qui-Gon do that much. Qui-Gon is that quintessential Jedi, but I don't think you'd ever really describe him as necessarily warm in that movie. No. Would you?
No. In fact, there was a scene that I watched where he kind of gets on Qui-Gon a little bit, and it's like a little harsh, but like he doesn't yell at him.
Yeah.
But there's never really a time too that I really feel like he's necessarily warm and caring, you know?
It's just interesting to think like, you know, what a Jedi should be, and I always think of Qui-Gon Jinn first, but just by his actions, not necessarily his personality even, which I think makes him a much better character in my heart, in my brain.
In your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion. More in my heart. It's Star Wars.
Yeah. No, I think Qui-Gon has been one of my favorites because of the way he acts, the way he focuses on the living force, you know, things like that. He's always been one of my favorites.
You know how there was that one time when I saw that Chewie got hurt and it changed the way I watch Return of the Jedi all the time? In the script for The Phantom Menace, it explains that the reason Watto is flying is that he's crippled. If you look closely, you can see that one foot is longer than the other, and he talks out the side of his mouth because of his broken tusk. But you never, you always see him flying because he can't walk.
He doesn't fly in episode 2.
Yeah, but he just sits there.
But he doesn't walk either.
Yeah. I just never thought of that. We've seen other
have we seen Toydarians walk
in
usually?
the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
you know,
I
the
suppose.
king and
I always
the
see them
guards
flying.
And stuff. They fly,
like, right?
but they'll walk around too. But I never really thought about the idea that Watto himself has a deformity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I
often think about one leg being lower than the other, and the other one kind of being up here and scratching and stuff, you know. But that is never part of the design. I mean, I've noticed the broken tusk and how he'll talk outside of that, you know. But just thought it was an interesting thing I never really noticed.
Huh. That's cool.
All right.
They walk now?
How would this be, Aaron? According to Ahmed Best in a Rolling Stone article, Michael Jackson campaigned for the role of... Who do you think I'm going to say next?
Well, I assume with Ahmed Best,
Jar Jar Binks. But George Lucas decided against casting him because the star status would compromise the film. At one point, Lucas took Best and Natalie Portman backstage at a concert and introduced Best to Jackson to gain the singer's approval.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Could you imagine Michael Jackson being Jar Jar Binks?
I'm just trying to picture the voice, like what the voice would be like.
Well, he would do hee-hee a lot, probably. Right?
Yeah?
I think so. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, just okay.
Squeeze me. Hee hee.
Squeeze me. Man, yeah, I don't know. That feels so weird. It'd have been interesting, I guess. But it's one of those things where it's like I can't picture this movie without this that I got.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know what the other alternative looks like,
Yeah. There's one here about Terrence Stamp, who plays Chancellor Valorum, who we mentioned earlier in the show. Terrence Stamp disliked working on this film. He clarified that he had been looking forward to a scene with Natalie Portman, but was dismayed to find out that Portman would not be on the set that day. He was asked to act towards a piece of paper taped to the wall instead, which he described as very boring.
Huh.
He declined to reprise his role in the sequels, saying that actors prefer to work with actors. Also, when he complained to a producer about how little he was being paid, he was told he would get a present from George Lucas. The present turned out to be a cheap Star Wars children's stencil set.
What? That's what you get? No way. Really?
I don't know how much of that is necessarily true, but I do like thinking that what would Valorum's role have been in the next movies?
Yeah. We saw him in the Clone Wars.
We did see him in the Clone Wars.
Where he was like
briefly.
kind of retired and stuff.
Yeah.
But like Valorum doesn't have like what's he have one scene in episode 1?
2, but yeah, pretty much. I mean, he barely speaks in the Senate.
Yeah.
Scene, but
he's in the Senate. He gets whispered to, and he sits down whenever
Yep.
Amidala's like, no confidence. And it's like, he just goes like.
I think when you're an actor of a certain caliber and you're being told that you were casting a Star Wars movie, you're like, oh, I'm going to be like Han and Leia and Luke. Not I'm going to be like TK421. You know?
Yeah, he didn't even get any lines.
Yeah. But hey, you got an action figure. I got a Valorum action figure over there somewhere.
Yeah.
But no, I just was interested. Like, what would his role be in the sequels, movies? You know, like you can't cut this out, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But also
maybe he had a bigger part in the 6-hour one.
But I've also slightly enjoyed some pettiness I've heard about George Lucas sometimes too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I revere the man, but no one's perfect. But in hearing a lot of his petty behavior, it endears me to him sometimes because I think pettiness is like an innate feature I have. I have to hold it back a lot, you know? So when I see other people doing it, I'm just like, there's a little Sith in all of us, and that's mine. Yep. Well, we're really over.
We are over, yeah.
I don't have really any more that I think are going to be as fun as those ones. So
okay.
Between the tone poems, the trailer, some little fun things, that was our look back at the Phantom Menace 25 years from when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, hopefully at some point it would be fun, I think, to do some kind of like maybe debate with Rick a little bit or something, talking about Phantom Menace and things that are liked, things that are disliked. We didn't get any questions, but hopefully if we get into a debate aspect of it, we can get into some questions.
Do we have like one question we could do?
I don't know. Gonk, is there one? Are you okay with one question,
We could
Gonk?
do like just
It'll only be
one.
another half hour of talking.
No, it won't. My name is Matt. Could Palpatine still have succeeded in his plan if the Jedi never found Anakin? I mean, that's the Phantom Menace adjacent. I think the answer is yes. I think that he would have. I mean, the answer is, regardless of Anakin or not, it's still the result of 1,000 years of Sith planning and patience.
Do you think he still beats like Mace Windu and stuff? Or do you? I mean, everything's changed. Clone Wars are different. You know, like so many things could have altered and been entire. Amidala Padme could have been killed, right? Like they kind of get summoned over. Where would Qui-gon or Obi-Wan have been? Like I don't know. I assume yes, because the whole what if scenario would have changed so drastically.
The Jedi, at the very least, would still have been defeated and crushed, despite maybe a Jedi like kills Palpatine. Let's say
he probably would have had Dooku more. You know.
Yeah, he probably would have.
More than likely, I would assume. Though maybe not, because maybe the whole situation with the Sith of Darth Maul wouldn't have happened like it did with Tatooine and trying to. I don't know.
Sure.
Like
no,
it depends what the
mean.
what if situation is.
Yeah.
Is the what if they don't land on Tatooine and they land somewhere else and you have a similar situation going on?
Yeah.
Does Qui-Gon still get killed? If so, does that still turn Dooku over? Because that's another thing too that I didn't really get to say too much was that this book and I think like the Count Dooku Tales of the Jedi changed elements of episode 1 for me a little bit,
yeah.
because I can't help but think about some of those during elements of watching this movie.
That's why the expanded universe / just extra material is so vital or fun for me. Is it does change things, and that's always fun. I can think about Star Wars in so many ways, but I love that I can think about, oh, this is what I thought about this moment before, and this is what I thought about this moment after, and neither of those are invalid feelings, but they can be different. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even in the what if scenario, and if you just pick different points, because I was like, okay, well, what if just Anakin wasn't there in episode 3?
Yeah.
And I'm like, everything else was the same somehow. And I'm like, well, I don't know. You still send someone for Grievous. Does Anakin not stop Mace Windu? Does Palpatine beat Mace Windu? Was he planning that ahead of time to be like, I need Anakin to make this final push to be my apprentice?
Yeah.
You know, like that feels like it was his final push there.
Sure.
So maybe if he didn't need that, maybe he just kills Mace Windu. Maybe he could have done that. I don't know. So, but I would say as much as he's ahead of the game, and in this book that we saw him like setting up tax bills and stuff that he's voting against or whatever, just to make sure he's seeding in the things he wants. Like, yes, I say he does.
Yeah. Well, in the immortal words of Chirrut Imwe, all is as the Force wills it, and what ifs don't really matter as much as what happened.
Very true.